agreed, until his mom screamed so loud the neighbors ran over. In the sweltering heat of a South LA duplex, where the palm trees drooped like weary sentinels and the air hummed with the distant wail of sirens, Lena Vasquez discovered her husband's separate budgets weren't just financial independence. They were a sly siphon on their joint dreams, funneled straight to his overbearing mother's vanity trips. But Lena, the woman who'd clawed her way from Compton kitchens to community college nights, didn't shatter the illusion with tears. She smiled into the mirror, her reflection hardening like forged steel, and began threading the noose of quiet accountability, one forged receipt at a time. The duplex on 48th Street wasn't much, a squat stucco box sandwiched between a taqueria blasting rancheras and a corner store where Ms. Rivera sold bootleg tamales wrapped in foil that stuck to your fingers like regret. But to Lena, 42 and fierce, with skin the color of café con leche and hands scarred from years of manicuring nails for women who never tipped, it was sanctuary. She'd bought it 5 years ago, right after marrying Marcus, using the down payment from her late abuela's life insurance. "Our fresh start," she'd whispered to him that closing day, her voice thick with the pride of a first-gen Mexican-American who'd traded high school dropout dreams for a cosmetology license and a side-hustle braiding hair in her living room. Marcus Vasquez, tall, broad-shouldered, with a fade that never stayed fresh and eyes that crinkled like his dad's when he laughed, had been her rock. Or so she thought. They'd met at a Dodger game, him nursing a lukewarm Pacifico in the cheap seats, her cheering louder than the vendors hawking elotes. He was a mechanic at the Ford plant in Pico Union, grease under his nails and stories of his mama's pozole that made her ache for home. "You're the fire I need, mija," he'd said on their third date, pulling her close under the sodium glow of a street lamp. They married quick, Vegas style, in a chapel with neon Elvis presiding, because why wait when life's brakes could fail any second? But cracks spiderwebbed early. Enter Dolores Vasquez, Marcus's mom, a widow of 68 with a perm like a halo of steel wool and a tongue sharper than Lena's cuticle nippers. Dolores lived in a cramped bungalow in Echo Park, walls lined with Virgin de Guadalupe statues and faded Polaroids of Marcus as a gap-toothed kid. She was the queen of "Ay, mijo," her voice a siren call that drowned out Lena's every suggestion. From the start, Dolores side-eyed Lena's fancy salon job, painting claws for gringas. "You could be a nurse like my sister," and her Compton roots. "That neighborhood's got too much noise, too much other," she'd hiss over tamales that tasted like resentment. Flashback. 6 months into marriage, the duplex kitchen, steam rising from a pot of birria on the stove. Lena, apron tied tight, stirs with a wooden spoon worn smooth from her abuela's hands. Marcus bursts in, tie loosened from a rare office training day at the plant. "Lena, baby, listen, Mama's got this idea. She's been saving for a cruise, but her fixed income, it's tight. What if we spot her a few grand from our emergency fund? She raised me alone after Pop died in that factory accident." Lena pauses, ladle dripping. The emergency fund, $15,000 scraped from her tips and his overtime, earmarked for a baby, or maybe her dream salon booth downtown. "Marcus, we talked about this. Boundaries. Your mom's got Social Security, that pension." He deflates, but his eyes plead, "Just this once. For me, she'll pay it back." Dolores hovers in the doorway then, uninvited, her floral moo-moo billowing like a flag of surrender. "Ay, Lena, don't be selfish." Lena swallows the burn in her throat, nods. "Okay." Marcus kisses her temple, relief washing his face. The birria tastes like ash that night. That once became a habit, a quick fix for Dolores's medical copays that were really spa days in Palm Springs. Marcus, ever the peacemaker, started with small transfers. $500 here, $1,000 there, from their joint account. Lena noticed the dips, the way the balance app glitched like a guilty conscience. "Separate budgets," he'd suggested one humid July evening, sprawled on their thrift store couch, the Dodgers game flickering on a TV that owed its screen to her Black Friday hustle. "You handle your salon stuff, I'll manage the bills and Mama's needs." Lena agreed, her voice steady as she filed her nails under the lamp's harsh buzz. "Fine." But inside, the knot tightened. She wasn't blind. Marcus's phone buzzed constantly with Venmo alerts to Mama D, and Dolores's Facebook lit up with filtered selfies from luxury shuttles to Catalina Island, trips Marcus surprised her with, paid from what should have been their nest egg. Their baby fund, drained to $2,047, her salon expansion, deferred again. And Marcus? He drifted, his laughs forced, his touches fleeting, like he was auditioning for a role in Dolores's endless drama. The breaking point came on a sticky August afternoon. Lena was in the salon chair, threading eyebrows for Mrs. Lopez, when her phone pinged, not the usual client reminder, but a bank alert, joint account activity suspended, unusual transfers detected. Her stomach plummeted. She excused herself, locked in the back room, and logged in. Gone. $28,000. Wired in chunks over 2 weeks to an account in Dolores's name. Marcus's thumbprint was all over it. The IP traced to his phone at the plant. Lena didn't call him, didn't storm the duplex. She drove home slow, windows down, letting the exhaust fumes and reggaeton bass lines from lowriders numb the rage. Inside, the house smelled of his cologne and her lavender diffuser, a fragile piece. She brewed café de olla, sat at the Formica table scarred from knife fights with onions, and pulled out her laptop. Not the fancy one Marcus bought her, the old Dell from community college, its fan wheezing like an old smoker, hours blurred, forum dives on financial abuse, calls to a free legal aid hotline from the East Side Women's Center. Sounds like elder financial manipulation in reverse, Mija, the counselor said, voice warm over crackly line. But you're the spouse. Get docs, quiet like. Baby, you won't believe. Mama's flight to Maui leaves tomorrow. I covered it. Lena smiled, plating carnitas she'd slow-cooked in the crock-pot, her abuela's recipe tweaked with achiote for that smoky kick. Sounds magical. He dug in, oblivious, while she watched, her mind a ledger of betrayals tallied in red. Flashback. Their honeymoon in Ensenada, 2 years back. Cheap motel with ocean view cracks in the plaster, but the bed was theirs. Marcus traces her stretch marks from the salon chair squats, whispers, "You're my everything, Lena. No one comes first." She believes him, arches into his touch, the waves crashing like applause. Cut to now, same bed. Him snoring softly, her scrolling his Venmo history on a cloned app she'd installed during his shower, tips from a paralegal friend at the center. The wife's double cross? Dolores wasn't just taking, she was plotting. A cached email from Marcus's account. "Mijo, once the money's secure in my name, we phase her out. She's holding you back. No kids, no ambition." Lena's chest tightened, but her resolve sharpened. She didn't wake him. Instead, she texted her cousin Rosa, a notary in Boyle Heights. "Need you tomorrow, emergency stamps." And to Javier, the PI from the center's network, a retired LAPD vet with a soft spot for single moms. "Track this Maui trip. Photos, itineraries, discreet." The transfers halted mid-wire, $5K bouncing back like a slap. Word traveled fast in their web. Dolores's Maui flight bumped to economy, her girls' suite downgraded to a timeshare Roach motel. Marcus's confusion mounted, texts from his mom. "What happened to my upgrade? Your wife sabotage?" He confronted Lena over breakfast tacos at El Tepeyac, the historic spot where burritos sagged under carnitas weight, the air thick with chorizo smoke and Spanish chatter. "Lena, Mama's freaking out. The hotel says the card's flagged." She sipped her horchata, cool as the ceramic mug. "Separate budgets, remember? I handle mine. Yours." His fork paused, guacamole dripping. "What? Baby, this is crazy. It's family money?" "Your family," she corrected, voice low, eyes locking on his like she did when threading a client's unruly brow. "I built this marriage on our sweat. Your mama? She's been picking at it like a scab." She slid a folder across the scarred wooden table, thin, innocuous, like a menu. Inside, printouts of Venmo trails, tel confirmations stamped with fraud alerts, that damning email screenshot, time-stamped and notarized. Javier's photos, Dolores lounging poolside in Maui, but not in luxury, squinting at a faded cabana, her girls, really bingo buddies from church, nursing watered-down pina coladas. Marcus's face drained, the color fleeing like oil from a busted gasket. Around them, the diner hummed, waiters hollering orders in Spanglish, a family at the next booth arguing over extra guac, but their booth went tomb silent. "Lena, I didn't know. She said it was temporary." Lena's laugh was sharp. "A file on acrylics. The one that vanished after the cruise? I called the clinic, Marcus. Clean bill." She tapped the folder. "This is theft. From us." "And her email? Planning to phase me out?" He rubbed his temples, the lei from last week now a noose in his pocket. "God, baby." I thought I was helping. Mama's always been intense. After Pop, she leaned hard. But this? I swear, I didn't see. Dolores's scream shattered the moment. Not in Maui. Here, bursting through the diner's door like a tempest, moo-moo askew, flip-flops slapping linoleum. She'd driven through the night, rage-fueled, her perm flattened by sweat. Ladrona, you bitch! You ruined my birthday! Marcus, tell me she didn't— The holler echoed, heads swiveling. Neighbors from the block. Ms. Rivera, with her tamale cart apron, old Mr. Guzman nursing coffee, poked heads in from the sidewalk, drawn by the volume that pierced the morning fog. Dolores lunged at the table, clawing for the folder, her rings glinting like accusations. "This is my son's money!" Lena stood, unyielding, her salon smock still pinned with a client's forgotten earring. "Retirement? Try extortion. 28 grand, Dolores. From our account." From the kitchen. Marcus rose, hands placating. "Mama, stop. Lena's right. I saw the emails." Dolores wheeled on him, face purpling. "Lies? I raised you. Without her kind. Low class, no family name. She's poisoning you, mijo. We'll sue." Marcus's voice boomed, mechanic strong, silencing the room. Forks clattered. He grabbed her arm. Not hard, but firm. "You used me. Us. For your ego trips. No more. The money stops. And you? Apologize." The old woman deflated, sobs racking her frame, mascara rivers on cheeks. Neighbors murmured sympathies, but their eyes were on Lena, quiet, unbreakable. Ms. Dolores mumbled something garbled. "Lo siento." But it hung hollow. A piñata burst open to reveal no candy. Just echoes. Marcus drove her home, Dolores trailing in her beat-up Corolla, the folder a talisman on the dash. That night, under the duplex's lone jacaranda, petals bruising the walk like fallen stars, he knelt by Lena's feet. "I choose us, baby. No more separate anything. Therapy. For me, for the family poison. And the money, I'll pay it back. Every cent. For our baby." Lena touched his cheek, thumb tracing the grease shadow that never fully faded. Forgiveness wasn't a floodgate. It was a slow drip, earned drop by drop. "Prove it, Marcus." "Not with words." He nodded, pulling her close, the scent of carnitas and regret mingling. In the weeks that followed, the duplex breathed easier. Marcus switched banks, set up joint alerts with Lena's thumbprint required. Dolores slunk back to Echo Park, her trips grounded to bus rides to the Mercado. No charges filed. Lena's mercy, not weakness, but a quiet boundary. Holidays only. Supervised. And Lena? She expanded the salon, a second chair under a Vasquez and Vasquez sign, her name bold. In her nightstand journal, the leather one from Abuela, pages yellowed like old tortillas, she penned, "Betrayal isn't the end. It's the forge. What doesn't break you tempers you into something unbreakable. And love? It reclaims what's always been yours.